Hey, welcome back to the scale model experiment. This week we're going to apply some carbon fiber decals and then shoot the car in clear. And so stay tuned and enjoy the show. Making carbon fiber templates can be as easy or as hard as you want it to be. All I've done here is I've put tape on this side and then I drew generously the line around the piece so that the thickness of the piece, that it would bend over all the edges. And I really only need to make one template because this will go on the other side as well. So I will take this piece of tape off and then trim it carefully with scissors, and that will be my template for this piece. For the body, I had the spare body, remember the one with the big Eye of Saruman on the top? So I cut pieces for here and here. This middle one will share the same template as that. And then for the other side, I'll put the tape on the other side of the carbon fiber sheet. Same thing here, I put a top piece and a bottom piece. So now I have all the templates I need for the carbon fiber. Let's get started with it. Lay them all out on your cutting mat and then label them. Now, if you're unfamiliar with carbon fiber decals, they come in different textures, let's say. Whereas this one's different than this one, which is different from this one. I'm going to be using this one. This is Miniature brand, carbon fiber twill medium. All right, so we'll do front spoiler first. A lot of people like to use a hobby knife to cut out carbon fiber decals. Just find it easier to use scissors. All right, just like before, put it in the water. It's moving around. It's ready to go. We'll put some water on the piece and slide it right on. Remember, this is generous around the edges, so just kind of keep that in mind. Flip it over and kind of see where you are on placement. We can sort of roll the edges here, sort of pull and stretch at the same time. Oh, you make sure your fingers are wet too. You'll stick them right to the decal. And anytime you get like a wrinkle, you can usually pull it like in two different directions, and you can usually get them out. I'm gonna let this decal dry before I do the other side. And I'm also going to trim the other decal so that it doesn't flip over the edge as much, because we're already covering here and here. Let's check it. I wanted to sort of give you an idea of what I was doing in the paint booth. So the first 2 coats were very, very mist coat. And since I was using a 0.2 needle at 20 PSI, I was just misting the paint, the 2K clear onto the body. And that was to protect the decals. I didn't want any lifting or getting underneath the decals with the clear. So first 2 coats were mist coats. And then it might have looked like I was hosing the paint on, but since I was using a 0.2 needle, it is a super fine atomized, very fine spray of clear over this whole car. And to be honest with you, this is a very thin clear coat on this car. And so I'll have to be careful when I cut and buff it. But I want to let it harden for a few days. I know it's dry, you know, it's been 24 hours, but I really want to just let it cure a little more. Well, now, isn't that disappointing? So this is the fully detailed engine that I bought on the internet, and look at the size difference in between the stock motor and yeah. There's no way that this is going to fit in this chassis. No. So, I have 2 options. I can go back to the slicer and put this engine into the slicer program and then resize this engine down to this size engine, which is strange because like even the valve covers are the same length, but the engine is so much taller. Yeah, it's just the wrong size. Shoot. So here's our cleared car. I shot the clear yesterday. It's been drying for about 24 hours now, so I want to give it a few more days to cure before I cut and buff it. But look at the engine. This actually fits very well, the stock engine. I think this is the right size versus this monster. So I guess we're going to call that a wrap for this week. The body looks really good. Like I said, I'm going to cut and pump. Like I said, I'm going to cut and buff it for next week. Also next week, we'll get started with the chassis. I've done a pre-fit of it and it looks really good. We're going to prep all of the components and then paint it. And then we'll go to assembly of the chassis next week. So next week will be a great show, cut and buff and chassis. And then the last episode will be engine and final assembly. So we're going to be wrapping this up in 2 more episodes. Thanks for watching, everyone, and I'll see you next time. Oh, wait a minute. We have new t-shirts in the store. Make sure to pick one up for yourself. You still here? Go ahead and order yourself a t-shirt. Hit the subscribe button and watch the next video. Thanks, everyone.